Hi everyone, it's Ronnie, and I'd like to tell you a bit of the progress, I suppose, around the festival that I do. It's called UK Fruitfest, and this weekend we will have our very last opportunity to register. And on Friday night from 7 to 9, and on Saturday from 11 till 3, Sunday 11 till 3, I'll have some live Zoom calls, and we'll have some of the people from the festival being part of that. Giving some mini presentations, and we'll have interviews and stuff, and we'll chat about the festival and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be the last opportunity to register for this year's event. And thank you for supporting it, those who are coming. Looking forward to seeing you there. Um, Doing this event has been a really very personal journey for me, the UK Fruit Fest, and it's been always quite a tough thing to do over the years. Not in maybe the way that you think, because I think everyone thinks it's really complicated to organise it, and to some degree it is. But this is the 12th time, so a lot of the stuff you've done before, and you're just trying to do it better. But it's quite a risky thing to do, um, and it's a difficult thing to promote. And what I've been learning, what I've learned really for quite a while, a number of things about it that I've learned and not necessarily taken action on, but I've learned that the raw vegan and fruitarian movement, if there is such a thing, or people who are doing that kind of diet, don't really want to go to these events generally, um, which has been fascinating over the years to understand and to figure out why that is. And some of you are in that category. You've never been to like one of the fruit festivals, UK Fruit Fest, or any of them, and you've probably not been. Well, maybe you've been to retreats and stuff like that. It's probably more likely. Um, and when I went to a fruit festival, which I went to in the first one in 2012, I went to Woodstock Fruit Festival in upstate New York, near Lake George, near Trout Lake, on the banks of Trout Lake, Camp Walden, and I fell in love with that whole place, that whole festival, the community, the tribe of it, and for me, I think it fulfilled something that was missing in me in some way. Um, some sense of being part of something, some sense of being part of a tribe, something like that. It I felt like I was to some degree more like-minded with these people, and it filled something in me, I suppose. So I just felt like I was in paradise there, and I appreciated it so much. I was always really in a state of gratitude the whole time I was there. I was always waking up and thinking, you know, rem- remember you're at Woodstock. Like, remember, this is, of all the things happening in planet Earth, this is the best thing. That's the way that I thought about it. This is the place to be. This is the peak human experience. And I have to remind myself every day. And then during the year when I wasn't there, Woodstock didn't do really anything to keep in touch with the community or do anything. So sometimes you'd think, why am I going back to this? Why am I going back to this? You'd forget. But I'd sign up and then I'd go. And as soon as I arrived, I was like, now I remember. And it's impossible to put it into words. Um, it was, you could say it's a vibe, you could say it's an energy or whatever, but it was just like immediately on a feel good factor, just being there. Just being there. And over the years, you get to know the people who are there, the people that arrange it. You become part of it in a way. And it was such a beautiful thing. I think they might be doing it again, but such a beautiful thing to be part of. And the people who were the real kind of Woodstockers, I guess, all had that feeling. They loved it. Loved it. And there was just no question we were going back. And you made such great friendships with people. Fantastic people. that you would meet at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. So for me, it's been a no-brainer to go to these events. But if I had to reflect on how I even ended up going, I ended up going because people that I followed online were going. It's probably a big part of it. And if no one that I followed online was going, there's a good chance I wouldn't have gone, you know. So because I respected Durian Ryder and Doug Graham and all the people that I'd watched these videos, I've made a connection to who these people were. That made it special to go for me. But then when I got there, it was no longer really about that. At least after the first few years, it was no longer really about the presenters who were going and stuff like that. It was about just being there in the place. But the hook that got me in was these people. So with these events, they really need to connect with people in advance in quite a big way before people make that decision to come. And it's quite a big step for people to take. So I can understand that a lot of people just don't feel like it's for them, don't feel like it's there. But if they did come, they would realise what it was. They would realise how good it was. And that's always been the struggle that we've had with the UK festival, although we have had well-known presenters at it over the years, but then it's hard to get them to share it with their audience. Like, and you would think that people would go, oh, I'm going to an event, wouldn't it be great for me to tell my audience about it and support the event, and they'll get to meet some of the people that message me and stuff. And that's not the way people approach it. A lot of the time they approach it like, I don't know, like I don't want to tell my audience about it. I don't really know why, but that's sort of the way it is sometimes. So but there's no doubt that these events were great. I mean, not every fruit festival I've been to has really knocked my socks off, you know. But Woodstock was always, to me, always great, and a lot of the European festivals were. But some of them over time have been a bit smaller, and been a bit not as well organised and things like that. So sometimes I'm like wanting something a bit better, a bit bigger, a bit more people. To me, like size matters when it comes to these events, I think. And when you have 15 people and you're calling it a festival, or 20 people, it's, you know, it's not really a festival, is it? But there's a weird thing when you run an event like this. It's like, if you run it a week long, people will ask, can I come for 5 days? If you did 5 days, they'll be saying, can I come for 3 days? If you did 3 days, they'll be saying, can I come for 1 day? Everyone's trying to get something different for themselves. Everyone's trying to get a deal. And I think that's the thing. These events have never been a deal. And what I mean by that, it's never, financially, it's maybe not a no-brainer for people, because they look at Woodstock. I remember a guy, probably a millionaire, and he was saying, why is Woodstock so expensive? And I was like, what? How could you? And I couldn't understand what he. Firstly, it doesn't matter to him financially, but like, how I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what is. How could he see it as expensive? I could not figure it out. Compared to what? Compared to like, what week-long thing is he going to do, like a holiday, that will be anywhere near that? Nothing. Right? I feel the same about UK Fruit Fest. There's nothing that most people are going to do that's going to match that experience in their life. So there's a frustration there of like talking to people who can't understand what it is, think they know what it is, think they get it, don't have a clue, and therefore they're like, yes, it's not worth it, or I've not got the time for that, or I'm going to go to Australia, or something. And I'm like, you will have a rubbish time compared to UK Fruit Fest, just going to Australia, you know. People think there's some kind of joy out in other places. There's no joy in other places. It's hard for people to learn this, but the adverts that show, oh, go to Australia, go to Thailand, go to Spain, whatever, they make these places look so joyous and fantastic, and everyone's having a great time. But what you're really looking for in life is people and community and connection. That's what that symbolizes. If you leave here, you're going to go and find a better life somewhere. And really, people go and they're just in another city. And they're just there by themselves in another place. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, so my experience, so I went to these events. I started to go to more and more. I was loving them, and then put on the festival in the UK, and there's a long story behind that. And it's been really challenging, to be honest, and a real, I don't know, in some ways a sacrifice, but in other ways it's really given me a lot as well. So anyway, it's coming up soon, and as I said, there's still spaces left to come. We don't have accommodation, so you can camp or stay nearby. And but I would say that the event sometimes brings out the worst in me, and I can get a bit stretched and stressed about it, and I don't have enough help, and I can't really. The event can't quite afford to have help or have other, like, pay other people to do things and stuff. It's not big enough. And if it was to get bigger, then it's like becomes a bit more of a problem in many ways. So it's not in a great position as a thing. But for what it is, and what will happen from the 25th of July to the 1st of August, we will have an incredible week. We will have an unbelievable week. This will be life-changing sort of stuff for a lot of people. And then people will go home and forget about it and move on with their life, But for that week, it's such a supportive and joyous thing, and just reminds me of how good things can be, how life can be, And I go out into the world and everyone's looking unhappy and ignoring each other and whatever else, all in a bad mood. No one's sleeping enough. No one's taking care of themselves. And then I go to events like UK Fruitfest, and it's like, this is how life could be. Everyone's pretty much upbeat, happy, supportive, trying to look after each other. It should be simple like that, But it's not, right? But I do believe that these events showed me that a world of fruit, a world of people eating fruit, will be a better world, and will be a better community, and will be people acting better. I think, but maybe not entirely, But I do think fruit will make a big difference. So it's a passion for me, that as well. I don't know what the future is for these events, quite frankly. And they've not had a lot of support from the social media influencers, who are kind of the leaders of this movement to some degree or other. They've not really had a lot of support from them. Obviously, there's not like government support. There's no. I don't know. They're brilliant events. It's the kind of thing that someone like a Fully Raw Christina or someone like that runs retreats, and a number of people who have a big following run retreats. But they should consider a bigger event like this, because it would be really awesome for their community, Are they going to do that? Perhaps not, but and if they did do it, it would be super expensive to go to. But that's more likely probably what's going to be. If these events are going to continue, it'll be situations like that that'll happen, where someone with a mega audience will have a big event for their mega audience. But maybe that'll happen in the future. Anyway, I want to thank you all for your support over the years. And if you're coming to the festival, I look forward to seeing you. And whether you're coming or not, you can join us on Friday night, Saturday and Sunday for some of the lives that are going to happen on Zoom. Thank you very much, everyone.